HBOTS, what's up? My name is Phil. I am from Mints and Drops, and today I had the chance to talk to Comrade from the HBOTS project. Amazing guy, one of my day zero, amazing project. He rocks. Check it out.
Okay. Hey, HBOTS. Comrade, how
Hey,
you doing,
Phil.
man? I'm so happy to have you around, man.
Hey, Phil, it's a pleasure being on. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm great. I mean, I'm on the road. I'm not even home, but I couldn't pass the opportunity to have you on the show, man. Thank you for just taking the time.
No worries, and thank you for being so dedicated and doing what you do for the rest of the community, man. I
Uh,
know I really appreciate you, and I know the rest of the community really appreciates all the hard work and effort you do, and all the
Thank you.
positivity you bring. So we,
Thank
we
you.
really appreciate that. So on behalf of the Hedera NFT community, I want to say thank you.
Thank you so much. But I'm only as good as the invitees and the quality individuals that join the show, right? So I'm blessed to be surrounded by so many talented people, and I say this in the most genuine way, where man, there's always someone out there who knows stuff I do not know. Of course, that's life, right? But at a level that I'm not there in 2 months or 2 years, that's crazy. So you're always striving for better. But yeah, thank you. I take it genuinely, and I appreciate it, and I love doing it. But let's talk about you. How you been?
I've been good, man.
Yeah.
It's been crazy time since I've joined the space. I mean, it's been like a
Hmm.
roller coaster for me.
Yeah.
Should be
Yeah.
told. Like we've had ups and downs. But you know what? I went on like a break recently. I was off
Hmm.
for like 3 weeks. I had this plan for a couple of years, and what I never thought would be possible is I actually missed the space. I missed the people in the space, and um, I was genuinely worried about HBOTS, and I didn't think like I always had sort of a passion for being in the space, but I didn't know I would end up actually having missing people personally on a personal level. So it just really struck me then like how deep we're into the space and how much it plays an impact on our daily life. So it was quite interesting and it was quite opening for me, um, to be honest. So that was quite cool for me.
Hmm. Yeah, it's fun to take breaks sometimes, especially since we're pretty much all multitasking, right? Where we're doing our fiat job, and then we have to come here, and sometimes it's even at the very same time. But taking a break sometimes puts things in perspective, and especially have that zoom out effect where when you talk about people about crypto or NFT or even the projects, you're like, wow, we're inside a bubble. So yeah, yeah, I'm glad you had the chance to take a break. That's cool.
I I think that's the biggest thing you mentioned, that we're in a bubble. We
Hmm.
don't realize it sometimes, and because I work full time as well in a
Yeah.
fiat job, and sometimes I don't mention, oh, okay, I'm HBOT comrade and I have HBOTs. But generally, when we're talking about even something like crypto, they won't even know about crypto itself.
Yeah.
Generally, their first reaction is that's a scam, that's
Hmm.
fraud. Um, don't do that. You're an idiot if you do that. And I work in financial services. So these people aren't like not educated. They know and do personal investments on their own. Um, so for me to step out of the bubble, I think it's quite important sometimes to take a step back, take a holistic view as well. And I think that helps me as an individual and as obviously us as a project too. Sometimes just to step outside of the bubble, see what's going on. Currently, obviously, it's not good times around the globe. There's recessions happening, and obviously there's financial turmoil. And we're seeing obviously the same thing in the NFT market, but sometimes it's easy to say, "Oh, my floor price is dropping. What am I doing wrong?" And sometimes you just
Yeah.
need to take a step back and see, okay,
Hmm.
here's what's happening in the world, and here are all the
Yeah.
issues that happen. Maybe it's not just you. The world is obviously bigger than just one person. So sometimes
Hmm.
it's important to take that step back.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. And yeah, I mean, you've had quite the intense, springtime, especially right before the Federal heat wave, before summer. How did you all fathom this and process the whole thing? Right before, like, say you launch Gen 2. We can go around in Gen 1, talk about it, but especially right before you were launching Gen 2, how everything came up to you.
So for me, after Gen 1, I had no like immediate plans to launch Gen 2, because I was mainly focused on bringing up the floor price, bringing some value to holders. And then luckily, I got the chance to go to NFT New York, met with the Hedera team. I met with a few other projects too, and met with some very interesting people, and that sort of gave me like a bit of a boost and a new way of looking at things. And when I came back, and then I sort of shifted the way we were doing our sort of main marketing and the same sort of way community outreach. So we were very Discord heavy at the time, and not much focus on Twitter. So then we went obviously more towards Twitter. We started replying on the tweets, Hedera projects, non-Hedera projects too, to get a cross-chain influence. And then we started building up from there, joining Twitter Spaces. We always were joining Twitter Spaces, but what we've tried to do since was join Twitter Spaces on other chains, learn from what they're saying, go up as a speaker, speak, bring some awareness, not only to our project, bring awareness to the whole Hedera ecosystem. And I think from that, there was a bit of a snowball effect as well. So people started to picking up, and I got into calls with various projects, metaverse projects, and as well as cross-chain projects, and was telling them about our project. And obviously, we've had our successes, we've had obviously our failures too. But they really took on obviously what we were building on, and obviously alongside the Hedera heatwave, which did obviously accelerate our growth. We saw obviously people picking up HBOTS, and we saw people liking to collect them, and we saw the floor price shoot up. And then we really thought, okay, now we see the initial buyers, because that was my initial concern, the people that invested in me and in HBOTS, they sort of got a return on their investment. They got their money back, or some made a loss, some made a profit. But I thought in terms of that, I've sort of done my responsibility there, where I've tried to get them in a profit. That's always my goal. I don't want to make people take losses. Obviously, I don't control any of this, and I don't promise it when I'm doing this. But that's a responsibility I put on myself.
Wow,
so I thought it was
huge.
It's a huge responsibility,
It
no
is.
doubt. So from there, I was speaking to a few artists, because Gen 1 was done by me, and quite frankly, I'm not an artist, and it may show with the art quality.
I enjoyed it, and still to this day I do.
That's very kind of you. But I thought maybe this time around, let's get someone a bit more professional, like a real life artist, someone that knows what they're doing. And for me, that was sort of my main thing. So me and HBOTS, we were looking up artists, and we really wanted to go with someone within the community, so within the Hedera NFT community, rather than go outside. So in a way, what we thought was, if we invest in someone in our space, not only do they get exposure, and we obviously get the new art and cool art, we're also investing within our community. And that sort of helps to build our community. We're spending HBARs on them. Eventually, they'll buy other projects with that HBAR, and then it's like a impact on the whole ecosystem. So we ended up with, after lots of discussions, we went up with the creator of BOTS and Toki Heads. His name is NJ Crypt. He's also known as NJR, and he's an amazingly talented artist. And we went on a call with him, and we've had several calls with him, and we outlined our vision and what we wanted to see. And truth be said, he was amazing. Obviously, he has his own other projects on in real life, but he managed to work around, and he made obviously our new logo as well, the new art, and then that sort of helped us to rebrand as well, in a way, because we were very pixel art, but now we've sort of moved on to 3D art, but we didn't want to lose obviously the essence of HBOTS. So we kept some of the same traits, but obviously converted that to 3D art, and obviously where team has still remained the same throughout. So we did want to keep elements of Gen 1 into Gen 2. So it's more like a evolution of the project. And I think that's what we were going as well. So that was the road to Gen 2. And for us, obviously with Hedera Heatwave and a lot more new people coming into the space, it was ideal time to launch. But unfortunately, as people know, things always don't turn out to plan. Our launch date unfortunately got delayed. The launch pad wasn't up, and then when the launch pad came up, then there was an issue on the network where you couldn't do secure trades, and eventually Zeus had to shut down. So we were shut down mid-launch, mid-whitelist launch, and there was a lot of people looking forward to it. got an amazing video done by an amazing external video editor. Thanks to Phil for the recommendation, and that really boosted our hype as well, and caused a lot of FOMO in people. I had tons of messages on Discord. Please give me whitelist. Please give me whitelist. And at that point, my allocation was completely finished because I'm like a strong believer in obviously giving everyone a chance to win as well. So I did want to have a good amount of public left. So I didn't want to obviously over allocate whitelist. So I had to turn down a lot of people at that time as well. And I was just thinking, what a bad time for all this to happen. We're in such a good way, like everything we planned for this launch date, like the way we went up with our marketing and the whitelist giveaways. And unfortunately, it was out of our control, but we couldn't mint. And then the mint got delayed by about 4 to 5 days. We reopened, but it wasn't the same. People were so very cautious about where they were spending their money within the whole space, not just on my project. And that sort of didn't have the greatest impact for us, should be said, but that doesn't obviously mean that we're not still here and we're not going to continue to work for our holders. But the end result was, don't have exact figures, but around 275 were minted with a supply of 444. So we took the remaining off from Zeus Market. And with that, at that time, we said we're still obviously figuring out what to do with the remaining supply. And we're obviously now we're going to drop some alpha on Phil's videos and mints and drops because they're awesome. So what we're going to do with the remaining supply is, and you're hearing this here first, we're going to burn all of this supply, the remaining supply that's in our treasury wallet. For the moment, you may see them, if you go on Hashscan, they'll still be held in our wallet because we're just looking at a batch way to burn. At the moment, I think you can burn 5 at a time, and that seems to be way too time consuming. And it's not, and obviously the network fails quite a few times during this. So I think there's better uses of our time, and we're going to wait for a way to batch burn all of those Gen 2s. But for now, they'll remain in the treasury wallet and they won't leave those wallets since now. So that's one big thing coming up. And the second big thing for us is we're going to look at rewarding our holders. I'm not going to reveal much now. I'm still working it out with our 5+ and 10+ holders because I'm a big believer in community and I'm a big believer in listening to the people that invested in me and invested in our project. But what I will say is, to give a bit of a hint, is we've all seen the meta with royalties and that on Solana where there's optional royalties. Maybe we'll do something around royalties and how we use our royalties going forward. So adapting to the market and constantly learning and constantly developing. We look at a way to reward those that supported us and believed in us. So just keep an eye out, and if you're holding them and they've listed, delist them. Believe me, it's going to be for your own benefit.
I think you're putting a lot on your shoulders. I think you did really well. I'll say this anywhere. What's your perspective on the NFT market at this very moment?
I think you summed up quite well. We're in a bit of a downturn, and I don't think it's just exclusive to Hedera NFTs. I think it's across the board, and NFTs on all other chains too, including Solana, including ETH, including Cardano. We're seeing a lack of volume, and that may be linked with the bear market, or again, there's a lot of variables that play into it. But I think, and we've seen in our own space, we've seen obviously projects rugging, we've seen founders disappearing, and now what I thought is, okay, I was already active in the space anyway, but now I'm going to make more of an effort to join Twitter Spaces, to talk, to use Twitter marketing, to use Discord marketing. I'm always in the Discord. I'm always on Twitter. If I'm not on those, and either I'm working on my real job and sleeping, or I'm on calls with other creators.
We see you all the time.
We see. Unfortunately, you guys get to see me too much, I think. But the main thing is for me is, look, it's a bear market. This is the time where you show that you have skin in the game, that you're here to support you.
Sure.
And look, I know it's easy for me. It's really easy to say at the moment to my holders, to my community, sorry, the flow is down, volume is down across the chain. But I don't think that's good enough, because I know, and I strive myself, obviously personally, to be the best, to do the most I can do. And I know that's not good enough for me, and that's not something that I would like to accept as a response if I was a holder in another project that said the same thing. So, as you say, it's sometimes a blessing and sometimes a curse. I take a lot of responsibility on my shoulders. But I guess that's just the way I am. And this is a time to show. Obviously, look, I'm still here. I'm here. I was here now, not only during the heat wave. I was here at the start of Hedera. I think I missed it by a month, 2 months. But yeah, this is really the time to show who you are and what you're building, and your true intentions. Because it's easy to be there during the heat wave when everyone's buying and
for sure.
selling. But it's quite difficult being here every day, watching obviously the markets bleed, watching the portfolio crash. But we're still here. We're going to spread positivity, and I think that's the main thing, right? While people are disappearing, we're here. We're building. We're talking. We're interacting with the community, and we're going to try and obviously promote our whole space, because the way we all win is when Hedera gets noticed. My goal is not, I just want, okay, HBOTS to moon. I want every project on this space to moon, as well as, obviously, that would be helpful to have us moon as well at the same time. But it's good to see others succeed, because there's a lot of amazing people in this space. And I think we all sort of want the same thing, for us to be noticed, for our efforts to be noticed, and eventually for HBOR and its price to go up too. Obviously, none of these things are guaranteed, but we'll try our hardest to do so. And I'm a big believer in obviously supporting others, and I support a lot of other projects too.
That's very true, and I can vouch for that.
Yeah. We're always, and I think you're the same way. And I think the best thing is that most of the community is in the same way. We're always there, whether it's even giving reassurance during hard times, or saving some HBAR up for them, or retweeting even something. It's important to support those that have supported you before, and if they haven't supported you as well, why not support someone? It doesn't hurt to be nice. It's free to be nice, and support your fellow comrade, as I would like to say it.
That's great. That's really great. I mean, I go the same way, and since we've met, that's the key point, right? Because if we can get to a point where, without overdoing it, like genuinely doing it for people, just to be open and help, and yes, like you said, retweet, just go around, ask for help, give some help, giving some proposals or whatever, giving a hand, it never backfire on you. And how could it? And especially if you invest in people behind the projects, like we're doing right now, that's investing time, and time is really valuable. And I believe we have time on Hedera. So you're on the dot, man. Yeah, absolutely.
I agree with you so much there, and especially where you mentioned time. Time is, I think, an invaluable commodity. If someone invests their time into you, I think it's really valuable. And I think whether that's in the NFT space or whether that's in real life, if someone's actively taking the time to learn, to listen, and to help you, I think you should really value it, and obviously thank them for their contributions too. Because I've seen many times, and that's including my project too, we've helped out many creators, but we won't hear people. But I've always made sure, and this is in my personal life as well, anyone who has helped me in any way, I'll be the first to say, this person helped me do this. Without them, it wouldn't be possible, or this person won't do this. I think it's just important sometimes to even recognize people's contributions, no matter how small they are or how big they are, because it's important to be recognized, I think. Obviously, we don't do things with it being conditional. We do it unconditionally. I don't help a project say, okay, give me 5% of your mint sales. I say, no, I'm going to help you because when you onboard people come into the space, your project will do successful. Hopefully, that brings new people to space. Maybe they pick up a few HBOTS. I mean, I'm not going to say to them, don't pick up any HBOTS, but it could help. But yeah, I think that's the main thing. I think if we stick together as a community and we build bridges, I think building bridges is very important at the moment, and that's within this community and with other communities. I don't think we should say, okay, this chain is bad because of X, Y, Z. We should say, okay, this chain, although it's good for this reason, I think if you come over to Hedera, is because of XYZ reason, and obviously we will be here to support you with anything you need. I think that's probably the best way to go about it, because what I see sometimes is people slandering other chains, and sometimes rightfully as well. Sometimes I feel like, but I don't think that's a way to go about it. We're still a small community, and we should be actively looking to not burn bridges, to build bridges rather than burn them.
Yeah, 100% right. You know, that's the human way, right? When you find your niche, you know, and you get into it, it's like we're strong brands. Like it's like Nike, you know, towards Adidas or whatever, and then you tend to, or Apple versus Android, you know, especially with phones, whatever, you tend to, you know, you put yourself inside a lane, a silo, and then oftenly, you know, people just stay in there, and the rest is meh. But yeah, that, I mean, since we're so early, you know, in the space, and right now there seems to be a downtrend, you know, that's the perfect way to, hey, let's just all try to find solutions together and try to absolutely build bridges. You have the right mindset, man. In my opinion, again, you know, I've said this since day one. I hope you keep on striving. You got the proper mindset, the proper heart. You're organized AF again. Project is absolutely amazing. Gen 1, Gen 2. Of course, I'm a holder. I'll say it anywhere. And I wish you nothing but the best onwards, whatever the path you choose, because that's a path of happiness and sharing. And I can only vouch for that, man.
Thank you, Phil. I just want to say on behalf of the whole team, we really appreciate all the kind words and all the support you've given us since day one. We know it wouldn't be possible without your contributions too, whether that's even saying good morning in the chat, or coming in and obviously coming in part of the council and giving us recommendations. Every community member plays a big part. I know you've been a huge part for our project personally. So just want to say thank you to you personally. And I also want to say thank you to everyone who's invested in HBOTS, even if you've sold them going forward, because that shows me obviously you've invested in myself and invested in the project and the team, and that means a lot to us too. But what I will say is, if you can, hold your HBOTS, and if you can, believe in us, do so. We're going to try and work hard in order to reward all of your holders. So just keep tight, hold on to your HBOTS. If you've listed them, delist them. Believe me, you're going to be excited for what comes next.
Wise words. Hey, thank you so much for passing by, brother. Always a pleasure talking to you, chatting and exchanging. I'll see you around in our many Discord servers, right? Or socials. Take care. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me on. It was a pleasure.